My name is Tiona, and I've been to hell and back. And I met a guy that actually was one of my dates. And he would come over to my hotel to give me money to pay for my hotel. And he didn't want nothing. He would tell me about how he seen so much more in me. So I'm like, okay, so at this point, like, I'm getting sick and tired of being tired at this point anyway. He decides that he wants to take me to Tahoe. And he was saying like for 3 days or whatever. And of course I had to put up this thing like, oh yeah, I don't do drugs, I'm fine or whatever. So after about a week of being up there, of course, I'm like starting to go off on this man and everything because I haven't had no drugs. And so we end up coming back down to Oakland. So he says to me like, well, let's go back up there. And I'm like, no, I got these stipulations, and then he wasn't trying to hear that. So then he sees me out on the host door, of course. He picks me up and I'm like, give me some money. And he's like, let's go up to Tahoe. I'm like, well, what about my stuff? I owed some people some money because they fronted me some crack. And he's like, I will buy you whatever you want. So that's all he had to say. You gonna buy me some crack and I can smoke it, and you wanna take me to Tahoe, and you gonna buy me some more clothes and everything else when we get there? Okay, yeah, let's go. So I'm like out because of course I have my crack pipe already on me in my bra, and so I'm smoking going all the way up there, because he done bought me a whole bunch of it. So it got to the point where I had this man like, because we're in Tahoe and they do crank out there, so I started smoking crank because I didn't have the crack. Then he would buy me cocaine so I can rock it up. And then he would come back down to the Bay Area to pick up his son. And of course, here I go again. Other girl who was next door to us, she was on meth. And so we messing with these people and getting money. And it just started all over again. So that's where I learned it don't matter where you go. It's not about changing locations, because if you are addict, you're going to find it wherever you go. It don't matter. I'm in Tahoe getting high. And so it don't matter where you go. When we moved back down here, when his mother was dying, okay, and he asked me to take care of her. So I was taking care of her, and this was when I felt like, okay, I said, well, and I'm at this point now I'm back in touch with my mom, okay, and my friends, and we're starting to talk. And at one point I was clean and sober. And I'm telling them, I'm done with it. I went right back to it. A couple months, and I'm still lying to everybody. So, but I'm taking care of his mom, and after a while, I was like, take me down there to give me some drugs. So he was taking me back and forth down to Oakland. He'd be mad, yelling at me. What happens? I leave some in his car because he smoked weed. I left some in his car on an accident. He calls me talking about, let's go back down there. I put some on my weed pipe, and he had smoked some crack too. So now I have this man smoking crack, but I'm a selfish crack addict. Not that I care that I have this man now smoking crack. No, that means it's taken away from the amount I'm gonna get. So I want him to stop. But he ended up getting sick of it anyway by himself and stopped messing around. And I started just looking at myself, and he was just talking to me, and I started getting just sick and tired. This was like really sick and tired. And then my conscience started coming back to me, because I was doing it like maybe once a week. I was smoking. Like at the end of the week, I was expected to smoke. So therefore, I wasn't as numb all the time. And I already knew that I wasn't going to smoke to the end of the week. So I had time to think about what I was doing, how I was lying to my family, my friends, what I was doing. So I started looking and getting into a program, which I never did, never tried. I'm like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to get clean and sober. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have that, and that's where my head was at. Like, okay. But luckily I first went into, which was my uncle, who was also an addict, who was getting clean and sober, you know, I was able to take the right steps, because like programs were telling me I had to wait months to get in, which was a thing for me to say, oh, well, I can keep getting high while I'm on the waiting list then. But then my uncle told me, he was like, no, you need to go to a detox, and they'll get you into a program. And, you know, by this time, I'm serious. Like, okay, I'm here. I didn't stay this amount of time in this one detox. Now I'm saying, like, I'm standing there with people that's coming off the streets, smell awful. I mean, it's like crazy, because they put you on a 24-hour hold where you're like in a cement glass case with this thin mattress they put on the ground, because people are having seizures, throwing up, and they don't want to put you in a regular facility where they just want to put it in a place where they can move, they can wash off the mattress and wash off the ground, and then you lay back down if you throw up, or, you know, and it's like crazy. So then they move, then after 24 hours, then you go over to another facility where you're like still like in a 2-man jail cell, and you come out when they let you come out, and you eat, and you can smoke cigarettes and things like that. And then I moved over to another detox. And by this time, I'm like, okay, I'm really serious about this. I'm about to get clean and sober. I'm not about to go through this again. You can only stand them at a certain amount of time. They hadn't got me into a program yet. So there was a shelter that came by to give us some food. And they were telling me, you know, they have beds if you don't have any place to go. So I went and stayed in the shelter. I didn't know nothing about where I was at, which I thought that would help too. I stayed to myself. The same guy that told me about that, you know, that was there for me, the same white guy, used to come out there and visit me. He kind of like doubted that I was really doing this, but I couldn't let him be the reason that threw me off, because he was doubting me. Oh, since he don't believe it, I might as well just go ahead and no. I was going through too much. So I stayed in that shelter for almost a month. And I got into a program. And by this time, my mind is set. Like, that's one thing about me. Like, my mind was set that I would like getting high. That's what I did. My mind was now set to getting sober. And that's what I did. It feels so good, because I think the best part of going to a program to get clean, and you go to the right program and then you work for it, because you appreciate everything so much. Like I stayed, this was supposed to be like a 6-month program. I stayed in my program for 10 months with no problem. I did all my days at the residential. Then I went to their SLE and stayed there for all those months. Then I went to outpatient also. And then I went to plenty of meetings. I got a sponsor, did my 12 steps. I mean, and I'm still in touch with my sponsor. I found my way back to God also, which I denied totally while I was getting high. You know, I went out there. These in my mouth all these are fake. All these are fake. A lot of these in the back are fake, and they're gonna pull out more. But at the time, I'm walking around with no teeth in the front. I didn't feel like anybody would hire me. I go to a job interview and they're like, okay, yeah, but I didn't have that confidence. But luckily the program I went through had like these volunteer jobs, and this lady I met who we're still friends today, we go out and do outings all the time. And she opened up a teen success where the teenagers were able to bring their kids. And so she trusted me, an ex-addict, to watch other people's children, and the people and the girls who came saw me with no teeth, and they trusted me also. So I would watch their kids, and I would get like $20 for like 2 hours, and I would save that money, you know, so I can do like little things, come out here and visit my mom, because our relationship was building back. And I would take that money and save it so I can catch the BART, you know, and see my mom and spend time with her. And, you know, because this was like just once a week I did this. And, you know, then from that, you know, I got a little job at working for an employment company that gets you back started in life. It was at a garbage company. And when I went there, I was like, I want to work here permanent. That was my goal. Like, that's what I wanted. I'm telling you, I was in Delhi City and this job was like an hour and a half away. So I would have to get up like at 4:30 in the morning and catch the bus. So I would be at work on time. I would ride my bike to the bus stop, and then catch the bus to work, and then ride from the bus stop, ride my bike all the way over to the job because it was on the back side where no buses ran. And I did this every day, never missing a day, and work and being the first one there and the last one to leave because I knew what I wanted. And so I got the job. As we know, I just got married. Yeah. And to a great man who's also been through the struggle with me. Also, you know, he has a year more clean time than me. But on September 15th, I will have 3 years clean. This is another thing that's really affecting me right now for my mistakes. Something very personal, but so back to where I was saying how I had them 2 PIDs. So now I go to the doctor, and luckily I have good medical coverage, and they go inside of me and check my tubes, and both my fallopian tubes are closed. So I can't have babies like other people can. But because the sperm can't go through the tubes to so I've never been pregnant. I've never been pregnant before. And I thought, oh, maybe because I was using condom, I've been safe or whatever. But no, they're closed. And so now I'm going to have to go through all of this stuff to try to have a baby. They have to like take the eggs out. But this is not cheap. They want $11,000 just to start. And we don't have money like that. Like, of course, I don't even have credit. So that means I don't have any credit cards. I mean, I have one, but I don't have built up credit. I just started trying to build up my credit now. So we're going to have to try to get a loan. And we can only do this one time and one time only. So if it doesn't take, I'll never have a child. And that's from the choices that I made. I would say, Mom, you know, I apologize for not loving myself as much as you love me. I apologize for not fulfilling all the dreams you have for me. I apologize for being a disappointment. Love you more than you love that drug. You know, none of it's worth it. And only you can make yourself be ready. You have to put that pipe down or whatever else you may be using and start loving you. Look in the mirror, and that's what I had to do. Look in the mirror. What do you love about you? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Can you even look in the mirror at yourself? Because I know at one point I couldn't. Then that's where you start at. And want more for yourself. What everybody else thinks about you is not important. You know, all those people I was so worried about, I don't know none of them. I don't see none of them. They're not even important in my life right now. So while I was so worried about them, they're off living a great life while I'm going through what I'm going through. You know, those people you're not going to even know. You're not going to even see again. They're irrelevant. Only you can take care of you. And drinking and getting high and all of that, what does that get you? That don't get you anywhere. But you know what? A high school diploma, a college education will have you set where you don't have to worry about bills all the time. And you know, you have a career where you have a job. You know, and all that other stuff is just stupid. It's stupid.